I'm on the little TV guy's like face. That's great. Turn that down a little bit. Hello. I'm gonna do this and then I'm probably gonna read some book after I'm done eating my taquitos. What if I just like... Hello. How's it going, KZM? I'm eating taquitos. I am gonna read book after, so we can continue to read book, but I'm hungry. Man, I wanted to eat my taquitos. But look at this! I'm hanging out with the frog right here. Ain't that cool? Listen to this shit. That is exactly what you come here for. Make sure you like and subscribe and give me a follow and do some other shit too. That'd be cool. That didn't work. Follow Aesthetic Lo-Fi. Making sure? Hell yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. Gotta fix some stuff real quick. What you making sure of? Best content. Hell yeah. Thank you, thank you. I try. This is all I can really do, given my fucking internet. Just, you know, eat some food. Etc. Sip some water, make sure you hydrate. And if you convince me real good, I can grab some alcohol. Oh, is that what it looks like? I like adjust auto quality. You can't. Whoa. The heck you mean you can't downscale? That's crazy. Huh. Well, I guess it's because I haven't streamed in a while. Let's put a... If you're still watching, you should go to... And you're on desktop, you should go to this thing and then click react and then do hype. That'd be funny. Oh. Okay, one sec. Hell yeah, thank you. And also, you're the cutie. Good ass taquito. Oh. Oh. Mm-mm. You should follow X. Okay. Ah, fuck, I did it wrong. How do I delete my own comment? It's Rax X. That. You should follow that guy. Because for some reason he doesn't have 400 followers. And I do this shit. Like, get bored, eat a taquito, and read a book. Oh fuck, he's at 401. Fuck yeah. I didn't realize that. His last thing said 3 followers away from 400. But he has 400. Fuck yeah, dude. That's some good shit right there. Also, thank you for reacting. Wait, you see me? You see the little me on the screen? Hello. Oh, hi Mike, how's it going? I'm eating some taquitos. I had nothing better to do. I have 2 left, so... Ow! Ow! Ow. Oh, fuck. Fucking congrats to Zrax, and also... God, fuck. You ever do that thing where, like, you're eating a corn chip or whatever, and it, like, stabs the top of your mouth? That's what just happened to me with this taquito. And hell yeah, I love it when it goes okay. Just okay or better than okay? Better be fucking good. I guess while we're here, I could just show you random shit on my desk. I got a little Pikachu Lego, but it's not actually a Lego, it's like Mega Bricks or something like that. Yeah, exactly. I got a harmonica. Ain't that cool? I got some copper sulfite. It's blue and like spiky. I got some copper. It's been kept in this bag, and so it's not gotten oxidized yet. And also, I haven't cut it. I'm also bored. I don't know if you could tell. I have this $5 turtle that I got in Hawaii. I have to explain everything because it's very, very close. I have this very important thing that's hard to open up. Holy shit. Bit bored, but nothing bad. It's good, but it's not nothing bad. Also, see if a little. Oh, I have a knife. There we go, that helped. That let me get open my compass. I have a compass that I can't, like, read the actual thing, but yeah. Thanks for the ASMR, I guess. You're welcome. This is from my stepdad when he retired from the Air Force. It has a very heartfelt message in it, but I'm not gonna read it. Also, yeah, I do ASMR bullshit now. Here, check this out. Let me just You smell like dookie. Please don't. Alright, who's adorable? I am not. Oh, ASMR isn't my thing either. I'm just eating. I have a empty bag of jelly beans that I will throw away shortly. Of course, I have my two books, House of Leaves and Houses in Blue. I am not. And Blood Meridian, which honestly should have been the first book that I read. I am not adorable. I am not adorable. Take this, my fucking super laser piss. Just ruining my camera for my own enjoyment. Whoa! 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 Oh, 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 oh. I'm still not adorable. Two people coming in here with orange usernames calling me adorable, I'm gonna get you confused. Hell yeah. For a second it didn't load and I got worried. Oh, nom nom nom. I have this little... Back when 3D printing was a new thing, I'm gonna make my camera bigger. I'm sorry. It is Life Slug reaction moment. I am the Life Slug. Have this little... I know, right? Back when 3D printing was new, I have this little Squirtle that was made in my high school. It's like this shitty little, like... You can actually count the polygons on this thing. It's very great. I have an Air Force hockey puck. I don't play hockey. I like it. It's better than other sports. And I have a song. Here, let me just... Oh, you're green now. It's funky. I have some pins from Mama Blue. I got the little worms on a string, but it's worms off a string. Got a little bunny, but it's like a Japanese bun. So it's like a double meaning. Got another motherfucking bun. But this time it's not a bunny, it's just cute. Got a moth. Fuck. Got a forg. This is what my life has gotten to. Got another fox. Say another, but that was the first one. I have this lizard made out of fucking barbed wire.
Booga.
Got my phone. Tropical depression. Damn. Why are they so sad over there? I got the VR cat. He has come for your souls. And also $9.99 a month because you want VR Chat Plus, you want to get all those avatars. Got some stickers. Got some stickers. This one says my pronoun is tired beyond all measure. Most of these are from Mama Blue. I got some stickers. This one's shiny. Got some stickers. This one's just bigger. Got some stickers. This one... bats. Got some sticker. It's a smaller sushi. Got some stickers. It's a bigger frog. Got some stickers. This company's out of business now. Here's that. Yeah, it's because it's gifted. Got some stickers. This company is still out of business. It's the same company. Got some stickers. Kirby car. Got a picture of Guam at nighttime, or I guess dusk. Got another picture of Guam, and this is like right after it rained terribly on top of us. That's a person. Hawaii Beach. Hawaii Beach. Boardwalk in Hawaii. Hotel in Hawaii. Oh, okay, I'll wait a sec. The streets of Hawaii. Hotel view from Hawaii. Street of Hawaii. Atlas Air, Hawaii. Me getting ready to do my job over Hawaii. Over Hawaii. Over California. Yeah. Dead bird that came into our engine. It wasn't. We didn't hit it. It hit us. blood of said bird over California, all so you could see the curve of the earth. Doing my job. Doing your mom, doing your mom. Very high in the air. A plane. My entryway. Raven. The same picture of Raven. Oh, shit. Raven. The same picture of Raven. Raven is my cat. Butterfly knife. Fake cannot be. It's not a real knife. It's not a real knife. Dog. Useless currency. More useless currency. I have about 80 Turkish lira, and that equates to roughly $3.20. And I can get like a whole ass meal with that money in Turkey. I can't go to Turkey. They banned me. Nah. We just don't deploy there. Unless we do. I don't know, honestly. Sandwich. Who's making the sandwich? Are you making a sandwich? Or is KSM making a sandwich? Doodly doo. Wow. That was crazy, wasn't it? God, my fucking roof of my mouth is bleeding. Okay, now book. Yeah, there we go. There's 24 minutes. Just pure peak content. Sandwich. After my father died, I was shipped around to a number of foster homes. What a fun part to join back in on. I'm kidding, that's not where we were. Vincent breaks off his conversation with Holloway to find out what happened. Chad, however, refuses to speak. Sandwich? You say sandwich. Sometimes. Yeah. Holloway, for his part, does not permit these domestic tensions. Wow. Concomitant stresses to distract him from his preparations. The ever-oblique Leon Robbins, in attempting to adequately evaluate these efforts, has gone so far as suggest that operation would in fact be far more appropriate than exploration. Holloway in many ways resembles a conscientious medical practitioner in pre-op. Take for example how meticulously he reviews his team's supplies the evening before. What I like to call Operation 4. Makes his flashlights are securely mounted on helmets and high aids properly attached to chest harness. Personally checks, rechecks, packs and repacks. Oh. Okay. Where was I? Packs and repacks all the tents, sleeping bags, thermal blankets, chemical heat packs, food, water, and first aid kits. Most of all, he confirms that they have ample amounts of neon markers, light sticks, 12 hours, ultra high intensity light sticks, 5 minutes, spools of 4-pound test, 3,100 yard monofilament fishing line, flares, extra flashlights, including a pumper light, hand generator, extra batteries, extra parts for the radios, one altimeter, which is like the compass, will fail to function. Robin's medical analogy may be a little misguided, but his emphasis on Holloway's deliberate and careful planning reminds me of the technician. One of the technical demands required in this journey, whether in operation or exploration. After all, spending a night in an enclosed, lightless place is very uncommon, even in the world of caving. The Lechugia Crystal Cavern in New Mexico is one exception. Typically, Lech visits last 24 to 36 hours. Holloway, however, expects to take at least 3, 4, possibly 5 nights at Freddy's, exploring the spiral staircase. Jesus Christ. Despite the detailed preparations and Holloway's infectious determination, everyone's still a bit nervous. 5 nights at Freddy's is a long time to remain in freezing temperatures and complete darkness. No one knows what to expect. Though Wax puts his faith in Jed's unerring sense of direction, Jed admits to some pre-exploration apprehensions. How can I know where to go when I don't know where we are? I mean, really, where is that place in relation to us, to everything? Where? This is them exploring the thing that appeared in their living room that's kind of just like a big-ass fucking hole. Holloway tries to make sure everyone stays as busy as bees. In an effort to keep them focused, creates a simple set of priorities. We're taking pictures, we're collecting samples, we're trying to reach the bottom of the stairs. Who knows? If you do that, maybe we'll even discover something before Novitzin starts all of the hoopla involved with raising money and organizing large-scale explorations. Jed and Wax both nod, unaware of the darker implications inherent in what Holloway has just uttered. He wants to get a lot of money from the exploration. As Gavin Young later writes, who could have predicted that those 2 words, discover something, would prove the seeds of such unfortunate destruction? The problem, of course, was that the certain something Holloway so adamantly sought to locate never existed per se in that place to begin with. Unlike explorations 1 through 3, exploration 4, Holloway decides to take along his rifle. When Novitzin asks him, what the hell, he plans to shoot, Novitzin replies, just in case. By this point, Novitzin had settled on the belief that the persistent growl is just a sound generated when the house isn't blue, alters its internal layout. Holloway, however, is not at all in accordance with this assessment. Furthermore, as he pointedly reminds Novitzin, he is the team captain and the one responsible for everyone's safety. With all due respect, since I'm also the one actually going in there, your notions don't really hold much water to me. Wax and Jed do not object. They are accustomed to Holloway carrying some sort of firearm. The inclusion of the Weatherby hardly causes them any concern. Jed just shrugs. Wax, though, proves a little more fractious. Fuck. I mean, what if you're wrong? He asks Novitzin. What if the sound's not from the wall shifting but comes from something else? Some kind of thing. You want to leave us defenses? Novitzin drops the subject. The question of weapons aside, another big point of concern comes up with is communication. During Exploration 3, the team discovered just how quickly all their transmissions deteriorated. Without a cost-effective way of rectifying the problem, obviously buying thousands of feet of audio cable would be impossible. Here's an ad break. That's fun. I had no choice in that. But at least it told me. I'll just wait like 30 seconds. Reading? Yeah, I read now. My internet is so shitty that I read. This is House of Leaves Art. The ad break ends. Oh my god. So long. Why? Why is the ad so long? Hmm. I'm not actually going to count down, but yes, I do read now. Want a break from the ads? All you have to do is just subscribe, or just do the Twitch. Fuck is it called? I think they just call it ad free now. It used to be something else, like an actual thing, like in the top right of the screen if you're on a. You're on desktop. Twitch Turbo? Yeah. Basically, you can watch everything ad-free. It's just none of your creators will get support from you. So that's... You watch ad-free, you may still see streamer-enabled promotions on channel. That's understandable. But yeah. $11 a month. Or, you know, do each of us individually, and that's up to you. That evening. Oh, another big point of concern comes up as communication. Holloway settled the issue by simply announcing that they should just plan on losing radio contact by the first night. After that, it'll be 4 or 5 days on our own. Not ideal, but we'll manage. That evening, Holloway, Jed, and Wax move from their motel and camp outside the living room with Reston. Novitzin briefs Holloway for the last time in the most efficacious way to handle the cameras. Jed makes a brief call to his fiancée in Seattle, and then helps Reston organize the sample jars. Tom, in an effort to cheer up a bruised and unnaturally quiet Chad, winds up reading both him and Daisy a long bedtime story. Somehow, Wax ends up alone with Karen. If Holloway's hand on Karen had upset Novitzin, it is hard to imagine what his reaction would have been had he walked in on this particular moment. However, when he finally did see the tape, so much had happened, Novitzin, by his own admission, felt nothing. "I'm surprised, I guess," he says in the last interview. "But there's no rage, just regret. I actually laughed a little. I've been watching Holloway all the time. I feel insecure by this guy's strength and courage and all that. Never even thought about the kid." He shakes his head. "Anyway, I betrayed her when I went there first time, so she betrayed me. People always say how two people are meant for each other. Well, we weren't. But somehow we ended up together anyway and had two incredible children. Too bad. I love her. I wish it didn't have to turn out like this." The clip of Karen and Wax did not appear in the first release print of the Novitzin record, but apparently was edited in a few months later. Miramax never commented on the inclusion, nor did anyone else. It is a little strange Karen did not erase the tape in the wall-mounted camcorder. Perhaps she forgot it was there or planned to destroy it later. Then again, perhaps she wanted Novitzin to see it. Regardless of her intentions, the shot catches Karen and Wax alone in the kitchen. Picks out a bowl of popcorn. He helps himself to another beer. Their conversation circles tediously around Wax's girlfriends, intermittently returning to his desire to get married someday. Karen keeps telling him that he's young and he should have fun, keep living, stop worrying about settling down. For some reason, both of them speak very softly. On the counter, someone left a copy of the map Novitzin drew following Exhibit A. Karen occasionally glances over at it. "Did you do that?" she finally asks. "Nah, I can't draw." "Oh," he says, letting the syllable hang in the air like a question. Wax shrugs. "I actually don't know who made it. I thought your old Navy man did." Based on the film, it's impossible for us to tell if Holloway, Jed, or Wax were ever explicitly told not to mention Karen Novitzin's illegal excursion. Wax, however, did not seem to recognize any trespass in his admission. Karen does not look at the map again. She just smiles and takes a sip of Wax's beer. They continue talking, more about Wax's girl troubles. Another round of "don't worry, keep living, you're young," and then out a second, it clearly shocks her. Oh, it lasts less than a second and clearly shocks her, but when he leans over and kisses her again, she does not resist. In fact, the kiss turns into something more than a kiss, Karen's hunger almost exceeding Wax's. But when he knocks over his beer in an effort to get still closer, Karen pulls away, glances once at the liquid on the floor, quickly walks out of the room. Wax starts to follow her, but realizes before he takes the second step that the game is already over. He cleans up the mess instead. Oh. A few months later, Novitzin saw the kiss. By that time, Karen was gone along with everyone else. Nothing mattered. Whoa. When do we get to the... Oh, we're literally at the fun part. Cool. Chapter 8. SOS. A wire code signal summoning assistance in extreme distress, especially used by ships at sea. The letters are arbitrarily chosen as being the easiest to transmit and distinguish. Signal was recommended at the Radio Telegraph Conference in 1906 and officially adopted at the Radio Telegraph Convention in 1908. The Oxford English Dictionary. ... Billy Resting glides into frame, paying no attention to the equipment in which Novitzin, over the last few weeks, has been setting up in the living room, including, though not limited to, 3 monitors, 2 3/4-inch decks, a VHS machine, a Quadra Mac, 2 zip drives, an Epson color printer, and an old PC, at least 6 radio transmitters and receivers, heavy spools of electrical cord, video cable, 1 16mm, a bunch of other shit. Compasses twitching to the odd polarities in the house, houses in blue, and a broken megaphone, not to mention surrounding shelves. Already loaded with sample jars, graphs, books, and even an old microscope. There's like a gap in the chapter. Instead, Resting concentrates all his energies. Why is there a check mark? There's a check mark on this page. Whoa. his energies to the radio, monitoring Holloway as he makes his way through the Great Hall. Exploration 4 is underway and will mark the team's second attempt to reach the bottom of the staircase. "We're here you find Billy," Holloway replies, in a wash of white noise. Preston tries to improve the signal. This time Holloway's voice comes in a little clearer. "We're continuing down. We will try you again in 15 minutes, over and out." The obvious choice would have been to structure the segment around Holloway's journey, but clearly nothing about Novitzin is obvious. He keeps his camera trained on Billy, who now serves the expedition's base commander. In grainy 729A, probably pushed 1T stop, Novitzin captures this crippled man, expertly maneuvering his wheelchair from radio to tape recorder to computer, his attention never wavering from the team's progress. ... dash, 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 ... By concentrating on Reston at the beginning of Exploration 4, Novitzin provides a perfect counterpoint to the murky world Holloway navigates. Confining us to the comforts of a well-lit home gives our varied imaginations a chance to fill the adjacent darkness with questions and demons. It also further increases our identification with Novitzin, who, like us, wants nothing more nothing more than to penetrate firsthand the mystery of that place. Other directors might have intercut shots of the base camp or command post. There's something weird going on here, as if Zampano can't quite make up his mind whether this is all an exploration, i.e. base camp, or at war, command post. With Holloway's tapes, but Novitzin refuses to view Exploration 4 in any other way except from Reston's vantage point. As Frizzle Clary writes, before personally permitting us to the sight of such species of Chimerian dark, Novitzin wants us to experience, like he already has, a sequence of dedicated, solely much more revealing details of waiting. Naguib Parades, however, goes one step further than Clary, passing over questions concerning the structure of anticipation in favor of a slightly different but perhaps more acute analysis of Novitzin's strategy. First and foremost, the restricted perspective subtly and somewhat cunningly allows Novitzin to materialize his own feelings in Reston, a man with fearsome intelligence and energy, but who is nonetheless, and tragically, might I add, physically handicapped. Not by chance does Novitzin shoot Reston's wheelchair in the photographic idiom of a prison. Spokes for bars, seat like a cell, glimmering brake resembling some kind of lock. Thus, in the manner of such images, Novitzin can represent for us his own increasing frustration. Excuse me. Oh god, I gotta sneeze. Whoa. As predicted, by the first night, Holloway and his team start to lose radio contact. Novitzin reacts by focusing on a family of copper verdigris coffee cups, taking up residence on the floor like settlers on the range, while a nearby pile of sunflower seed shells rises out of a bowl like a volcano born on some unseen plate in the Pacific. In the background, the ever-present hiss of the radios continues to fill the room like some high, untouchable wind. There's a gap. I did that on purpose. Considering the grand way these moments are photographed, it almost appears as if Novitzin is trying, through even the most Odyssean objects and events, evoke for us some sense of Holloway's epic progress, that or participate in it, perhaps even challenge it. Time passes. There are long conversations. There are long silences. Sometimes Novitzin and Tom play Go. Sometimes one reads aloud to Daisy, child, while the other assists Chad with some role-playing game on the family computer. Periodically, Tom goes outside to smoke a joint of marijuana, while his brother jots down some notes. Now lost journal. Aaron keeps clear of the living room, entering only to retrieve the coffee cups and empty bowl of sunflower seed shells. When the Vids and cameras find her, she's usually on the phone in the kitchen, the TV volume on high, whispering to her mother, closing the door. Even as the days lose themselves to night and find themselves come again, only to drag on yet more hours of lightless passage, Billy Reston remains vigilant. As Davidson shows us, he never loses focus, rarely leaves his post, constantly monitors the radios, never forgetting the peril Holloway and the team are in. Janice Whitman was right when she noted another extraordinary quality. Aside from the natural force of his character, his exemplary intellect, and the constant show of concern for those participating in Exploration 4, what I'm still most struck by is Reston's matter-of-fact treatment of this twisting labyrinth extending into nowhere. He does not seem confounded by its impossibility or at all paralyzed by doubt. Belief is one of Reston's greatest strengths. He has an almost animal-like ability to accept the world as it comes to him. Perhaps one overcast morning in Hyderabad, India, that he had stood rooted to the ground for 1 second too long because he did not really believe an electrical pole had fallen and an ugly lash of death was now whipping towards him. Reston had paid a high price for that disbelief. He would never walk upstairs again, and he would never fuck. Huh? You just got back? Welcome back. Reading book. At least you would never doubt again. So this chapter was originally typed. There were a number of handwritten corrections. Make love wasn't crossed out, but fuck was still scratched in above it. I'm doing my best to incorporate most of these amendments. I didn't think it fair to suddenly exclude this one, even if it did mean a pretty radical shift in tone. I know you probably noticed that, except when safely contained by quotes, Zampano always steers clear of such questionable four-letter language. This instance in particular proves that beneath all that cool, pseudo-academic hogwash lurked a very passionate man. Bedtime story, yeah. Lurked a very passionate man who knew how important it was to say fuck now and then. And say it loud, too. Relish its syllables. Syllabic sweetness. Its immigrant pride. A great American epic word, really. Start at the lower lip, often the very front of the lower lip, before racing all the way to the back of the throat, where it finishes with a great blast, the concussive force of the K catching up then with the hush of the F already on its way, thus loading it with plenty of offense and edge, and certainly ambiguity. Fuck. A great by the bootstrap prayer or curse if you prefer, depending on how you look at it, or use it, suited perfectly for hurling at the skies or at the world, or sometimes, if said just right, for uttering with enough love and fire, the one beside you melts inside herself, immersed in all that word. Holy fuck, what was all that about? Love and fire, word heat? What the hell is thinking up this shit? Maybe Zampano just wrote fuck because he wasn't saying fuck before when he could say fuck, but now as he waited in that hole on Whitley, he wished he could have lived a little differently. Or then again, maybe he just needed a word strong enough to push back his doubts, a word strong enough to obliterate, at least temporarily, the certain vision of his own death. Definitely necessary. Fascinating. Where was I? Definitely necessary for those times when he was working his way around the courtyard, trying to stretch his limbs, keep his heart pumping, a few remaining cats still rubbing up against his withered legs, reminding him of the years he missed, the old color, the old light. The perfect occasion, if you ask me, to say fuck. Though if he did say it, no one there ever heard him. Of course, fuck you. You may have a better idea. I went ahead and paged Thumper again. She didn't call me back. Then this morning discovered a message on my machine. It startled me. Couldn't remember hearing the phone ring. It turned out some girl named Ashley wanted to see me, but I had no idea who she was. When I finally rolled into the shop, it was a good 3 hours late. My boss flew off the handle, put me on probation, said I was an ass hair away from getting fired, and no, he didn't care anymore how well I made needles. He works at a tattoo shop. Unfortunately, I'm not too helpful about improving my punctuality. Oop. 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 You wouldn't believe how much harder it's getting for me to just leave my studio. It's sad. Really sad. In fact, these days, the only thing that gets me outside is when I say, fuck, 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 fuck you, fuck me, fuck this, fuck, fuck, fuck. That was... I might be reading this out too much, but that was worded out like how SOS is spelled. Because it's like 3 short ones, 1 long one, or 3 short ones, 3 long ones, and then 3 short ones again. Because it's fuck, 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 fuck you, fuck me, fuck this, fuck, fuck, fuck. And the entire theme of this chapter is fucking SOS, so, you know. Yeah, I think that's it. I do believe that's it. All the images Davidson finds during this period are beautifully concise. Every angle he chooses to describe the agony of the wait, whether a shot of Tom sleeping on the couch, Rest and listening more and more intently to the nonsense coming over the radio, or Karen watching them from the foyer, for the first time smoking a cigarette inside the house. Houses in blue. Even the occasional shot of Novitzin himself pacing around the living room communicates the impatience he feels over being denied this extraordinary opportunity. I have received a text message, 1 second. Italian boba tea, and it's just mozzarella cheese balls. I have the perfect response to this. Pain, agony, even. I'm a comedy. He's done his best to keep from resenting Karen, but clearly feels it just the same. Not once are they shown talking together. For that matter, not once are they shown in the same frame together. Eventually, the entire segment becomes a composition of strain. Jump cuts increase, people stop speaking to each other. A single shot never includes more than one person. Everything seems to be on the verge of breaking apart, whether between Novitzin and Karen, the family as a whole, or even the expedition itself. On the 7th day, there is still no sign of the team. By the 7th night, Reston begins to fear for the worst. And in the early AM hours of the 8th day, everyone hears the worst. The radio remains an incomprehensible buzz of static, but from somewhere in the house is in blue. Rising up like some strange black oil, there comes a faint knocking. Chad and Daisy actually detect it first, but by the time they reach their parents' bedroom, Karen is already up with the light on, listening intently on the new disturbance. It sounds exactly like someone rapping knuckles against the wall. 3 quick knocks, followed by 3 slow knocks, followed by 3 more quick knocks. Over and over again. Despite a rapid search of the upstairs and downstairs, no one can locate the source. But even though every room resonates with the distress signal, then Tom presses his ear against the wall. Bro, don't ask me how, but it's coming from in there. In fact, for a second it sounded like it was right on the other side. Ironically enough, Ironically enough, it is the call for assistance that eliminates the jump cuts and reintegrates everyone into a single frame. Novitzin has finally been granted the opportunity he's been waiting for all along. Consequently, with Novitzin suddenly in charge now, declaring his intent to lead a rescue attempt, the sequence immediately starts to resolve with the elimination of visual tensions. Karen, however, is furious. Why don't we just call the police? She demands. Why does it have to be the great Will Novitzin who goes to the rescue? Her question is a good one, but unfortunately he only has one answer. Because he is the great Will Novitzin. Considering the circumstances, it does seem a little ludicrous for Karen to expect a man who has thrived his whole life under shell fire and napalm to turn his back on Holloway and go drink lemonade on the porch. Furthermore, Novitzin points out, they've been in there almost 8 days with water for 6. It's 3 in the morning, we don't have time to get officials involved or a search party organized. We have to go now. Then, adding in a half mumble, I waited too long with Delilah. I'm not going to do it again. The name Delilah and its adamant Adamantine mystery stops Karen cold. Without another word, she sits down on the couch and waits for Novitzin to finish organizing all the equipment they will need. It only takes 30 minutes to assemble the necessary supplies. The hope is that they will locate Holloway's team nearby. If not, the plan is for Reston to go as far as the stairway, where he will establish a camp and handle the radios, serving as a relay between the living room, command post, and Novitzin and Tom, who would continue down the stairs. As far as photographic equipment is concerned, everyone wears a height and chest harness. Short 2 cameras. Novitzin has to take down one on the wall from his study and another from the upstairs hall. He also brings a 35mm Nikon equipped with a powerful Metz strobe, as well as a 16mm Arriflex, which Reston volunteers to carry in his lap. Karen unhappily takes over the task of manning the radios. A Hayate captures her sitting in the living room, watching the men fade into the darkness of the hallway. There are in fact 3 quick shots of her. The last 2, she calls her mother to report Novitzin's departure, as well as his mention of Delisle. At first the phone is busy, then it rings. Novitzin names the sequence SOS, which, aside from referring to the distress signal sent by Holloway, also informs another aspect of the work. At the same time, he was mapping out the personal and domestic tensions escalating in the house. Novitzin was also editing the footage in accordance to a very specific cadence. Tasha K. Wheelston was the first to discover the carefully created structure. At first, I thought I was seeing things, but after I had watched SOS more carefully, I realized it was true. Novitzin had not just filmed the distress call, he had literally incorporated it into the sequence. Observe how Novitzin alternates between 3 shots with short durations and 3 shots with longer durations. He begins with 3 quick angles of Reston, followed by 3 long angles of the living room. These are in fact long shots taken from the foyer, followed again by 3 shots, and so on. Content has on a few occasions interfered with the rhythm, but the pattern of the 3 short, 3 long, 3 short is unmistakable. Thus, while representing the emergency signal sent by Holloway's team, Novitzin also uses the dissonance implicit in his homebound wait, the impatience, frustration, and increasing familial alienation. Oh, fuck. We have received ATS. Figuratively, fuck, and now literally sending out his own cry for help. The irony comes when we realize that Novitzin fashioned this piece long after the Holloway disaster occurred, but before he made his last plunge into that place. In other words, his SOS is entirely without hope. It either comes too late or too early. Novitzin, however, knew what he was doing. It is not by accident that the last 2 short shots of SOS show Karen on the phone, thus providing an acoustic message hidden within the already established visual one. 3 busy signals, 3 rings. In other words, ... or so. Pretty bitter, but I've said the same thing myself a few times. In fact, that word helped me make it through those months in Alaska. Maybe even got me there to begin with. A woman at the agency had to have known I wasn't even close to 16, more like 13 going on 33. But she approved my application anyways. I like to imagine she was thinking to herself, boy, does this kid look young. And then because she was tired or really didn't care because my tooth was split and I looked mean, she answered herself with, "So?" and went ahead and secured my place at the canning factory. Those were the days, I tell you. Let me tell you. Obscene 12-hour days cradled in the arms of stupefying beauty, tents on the beach, out there in the Homer spit, making me, not to mention the rest of us, honorary spit rats. Nothing to ever compare it to again, either. An awful juxtaposition of fish bones and canned grime and the stench of too many aching lives and ragged fingers set against an unreachable and ever-present beyond. Question, KSM, if you're still here. Is it like the visuals are bad, but you can still hear me perfectly fine? Oh, perfect. An ad break is in progress. I guess the good news is that you hear me when I do this. Because I'm just wondering. Give me a second. Let me just put my ear into it. Doobity bop boop bop doo bop dee bop boop bop doobity 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 doo da ba 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 da ba ba doobity ba 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 da ba 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 da ba boop 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 ba. Okay, that seems to be working fine. Like, the audio is still good. Cool. And just as some water is too cold to drink, that air was almost too bright to breathe, raking in over 10,000 teeth of range pine, while bald eagles soared the day away like gods, even if they scavenged the mornings like rats, hopping around on gut-wet docks, sea at their backs, always calling out like blue-black taste of something more. Nothing about the job itself could have kept you there. Hour upon hour, upon even more hours, bent to the bench, steaming over the dead, gouging her halibut cheeks, slabs of salmon, enduring countless mosquito bites and even bee stings, my strange fortune. And always in the ruin of so many curses from the Filipinos, the white trash, the blacks, okay, the Haitians, low-grade grumbling, in which is the business of canning. He canned. The wage was good, but it was sure as hell wasn't enough to lock you down. After 1 week, let alone 2 weeks, let alone 3 months of the same mind-numbing, gut-heaving shit, you had to find something else. For me, it was the word so. And I learned it the hard way, in fact, right at the start of that summer. I'd been invited out on a fishing boat, a real wreck of a thing, but supposedly as seaworthy as they get. Well, we hadn't been gone for more than a few hours when a storm suddenly came up, split the seams, and filled the hole with water. The pumps worked fine, but only for about 10 minutes. Tops. The Coast Guard came to rescue, but they took an hour to reach us, at the very least. By then, the boat had already sunk. Fortunately, we had a life raft to cower in, and almost everyone survived. Almost. One guy didn't. An old Haitian. At least 16 years old. That's not old. He was a friend too, or at least on his way to becoming a friend. Some line got entangled around his ankle and he was dragged down with the wreck. Even when his head went under, we could still hear him scream. Even though I know we couldn't. Back on the shore, everyone was pretty messed up, but the honored captain was by far the worst off. He ended up drunk for a week, though the only thing he ever said was so. The boat's gone, so your mate's dead, so hey, at least you're alive. So, an awful word, but it does harden you. It hardened me. Somehow, though, I don't remember exactly how. I ended up telling my boss a little about that summer. Even Thumper tuned in. It was the first time she paid any real attention to me, and it felt great. In fact, by the time I had finished, since the day was almost over anyway and we were locking up, she let me eat her out. "You're alright, Johnny," she said in a way that actually made me feel alright. Walk her out. At least for a little while. We kept talking and walked a little longer, and then on a whim she decided to get some Thai food at the small place on the north side of Sunset. She saying, "Are you hungry?" Me using the word starving. Her insisting we get a quick bite. Even if I hadn't been starving, I would have eaten the world just to be with her. Everything about her shimmered, blah blah blah, blah blah. Oh my god. Just watching her drink a glass of water, the way she'd crush an ice cube between her teeth made me go a little crazy. Even the way her hands held the glass, she had beautiful hands, launched me into all kinds of imaginings, which I didn't really have time for because the moment we sat down, she started telling me about some new guy she was seeing, a trainer or some other cadre of wannabe never be boxers. Apparently, he could make her come harder than she had in years. I suppose that might have made me feel bad, but it didn't. One of the reasons I like Thumper is because she's so open and uninhibited about everything. Maybe I've said that already. It doesn't matter what she... Anyways, chapter 9. I don't even know. In fact, all this is quoted directly from... Having already discussed in Chapter 5 how echoes serve as an effective mean to evaluate physical, emotional, and thematic distances present in the Novitzin record. It is necessary to remark upon the descriptive limitations. In essence, echoes are confined to large spaces. However, in order to consider how distances within the Novitzin houses in blue, are radically distorted, we must address the more complex ideation of convolution, interference, confusion, and even decentric ideas of design and construction. In other words, the concept of labyrinth. It would be fantastic if, based on the footage from the Novitzin record, someone were able to reconstruct a bow plan of the house. The fuck? So sorry. German for building plan. Of course, an impossibility, not only due to the wall shifts, but also films, constant destruction of continuity, frequent jump cuts, prohibiting any sort of accurate map making. Consequently, in lieu of schematics, the film offers instead a fucking schismatic rendering of empty rooms, long hallways, and dead ends, perpetually promising but forever eluding the finality of immutable report. Curiously enough, if we can look to history to provide us some context, the reasons for the building labyrinth. The reasons for building labyrinths has varied substantially over the ages. For example, in English hedgerow mazes, the English hedgerow maze at Longleat was designed to amuse garden party attendants, while the Amenemhet III of the Xi dynasty in Egypt, 7th dynasty in Egypt, or 12th, fuck me, built for his mortuary temple, a labyrinth near Lake Moeris to protect his soul. This is scratched out and in red. Most famously of all, however, was the labyrinth Daedalus constructed for King Minos. It served as a prison. Reportedly located on the island of Crete, in the city of Knossos, the maze was built to incarcerate the Minotaur, a creature born from illicit encounter between the queen and a bull. As most school children learn, this monster devoured more than a dozen Athenian youths every few years before Theseus eventually slew it. Let me increase my camera size just a little bit to give you context to what the fuck I'm looking at. It's all red and crossed out. So I don't really know what to do. At the risk of stating the obvious, no woman can mate with a bull and produce a child. Recognizing this simple scientific fact, I am led to somewhat interesting suspicion. King Minos did not build the labyrinth to imprison a monster, but to conceal a deformed child, his child. While the Minotaur has often been depicted as a creature with the body of a bull and the torso of a man, centaur-like, the myth describes the Minotaur as simply having the head of a bull and the body of a man. In other words, the man with a deformed face. I believe pride would not allow Minos to accept the heir to the throne with a horrendous appearance. Consequently, he dissolved the right of ascension by publicly accusing his wife, Pasiphae, of fornicating with a male bovine. Having enough conscience to keep from murdering his own flesh and blood, Minos had a labyrinth constructed. Complicated enough to keep his son from ever escaping, but without bars to suggest a prison. It is interesting to note how the myth states most of the Athenian youth fed to the Minotaur actually starved to death in the labyrinth, thus indicating their deaths had more to do with the complexity of the maze and less to do with the presumed ferocity of the Minotaur. I'm convinced Minos' maze really serves as trope for repression. My published thoughts on the subject see Birth Defects of Knossos, Sunny Won't Wait Flyer, Santa Cruz, 1968. As it turns out, the Minotaur is a gentle and misunderstood creature, while so-called Athenian youth are convicted criminals who are already sentenced to death back in Greece. Usually King Minos has them secretly executed, and the publicly claims their deaths were caused by the terrifying Minotaur, thus ensuring that the residents of Knossos will never get too close to the labyrinth. Unfortunately, this time one of the criminals had escaped into the maze, encountering Mint, as Chiclets refers to the Minotaur, and nearly murdering him. Had Minos himself not rushed in and killed the criminal, his son would have perished. There's a little jump cut right here. However, even as Holloway Roberts, Jed Lee, and Wax Hook make their way further down the stairway into Expedition 4, the purpose of that vast place still continues to elude them. Is it merely an aberration of physics? Some kind of warp in space? Just a topiary labyrinth on a much grander scale. Perhaps it serves as a funeral purpose, conceals a secret, perhaps something, protects something. Perhaps it imprisons or hides some kind of monster, or, for that matter, imprisons or hides an innocent. As the Holloway team soon discovers, the answer to these questions are not exactly forthcoming. Sufficient to say, Minos is furious. He has caught himself caring for his son, and the resulting guilt and sorrow incenses him to no end. As the play progresses, the king slowly sees past his son's deformities, eventually discovering an elegant spirit, an artistic sentiment, and most importantly, a visionary understanding of the world. Soon a deep paternal love grows in the king's heart, and it begins to conceive a way to reintroduce the Minotaur back into society. Sadly, the stories the king has spread throughout the world concerning this terrifying beast proves the seeds of tragedy. Soon enough, a bruiser named Theseus arrives. Chiclets describes him as a drunken, virtually retarded frat boy who, without a second thought, hacks the Minotaur into little pieces. In one of the play's most moving scenes, King Minos, with tears streaming down his face, publicly commends Theseus' courage. The crowd believes the tears are a sign of gratitude, while we, the audience, understand they are tears of loss. The king's heart breaks, and while he will go on an extremely just ruler, it is a justice forever informed by the deepest kind of agony. Note, struck passages indicate Zampano tried to get rid of, but which I, with a little bit of turpentine and good old magnifying glass, managed to resurrect. I have no idea why these titles and cited sources are different. It seems too deliberate to be an error, but since I haven't been able to find the flyer, I still don't know for certain. I did call Ashley back, left message, even though I still don't remember her. Strictly... oh, wait. Wait. Even in Metamorphosis, Ovid notes how Minos... in his old age feared young men. When Minos was in a golden middle age, all nations feared the mention of his name. But now he'd grown so impotent, so feeble, he shied away from the proud young Miletus. More Greek bullshit. Strictly as an aside, Jacques Dorade once made a few remarks on the question of structure and cruelty. It is too complex to adequately address here. For some, however, this mention alone may prove useful when considering the meaning of play, origins, and ends, especially when applied to the Novitzin house. Here's the English as best I can do. The function of a center was not only to orient, balance, and organize the structure. One cannot, in fact, conceive an unorganized structure, but above all, to make sure that the structure... to make sure that the organizing principle of the structure would limit what we might call the play of the structure. By orienting and organizing the coherence of the system, the center of a structure permits the play of its elements inside total form. And even today, the notion of a structure lacking any center represents the unthinkable itself. And later on, this is why classical thought concerning structure could say that the center is paradoxically within the structure and outside it. The center is at the center of the totality, and yet, since the center does not belong to the totality, it is not part of the totality. The totality is its center elsewhere. The center is not the center. Something like that, from Jacques Derrida's Structure. It's all in French. I'm not going to read French. I do not want to insult Mike. Ces centres avaient pour fonction non seulement orienter... I don't know. Penelope Reed Doob avoids the tangled discussion of purpose by cleverly drawing a distinction between those who walk within a labyrinth and those who stay outside it. Maze treaders. The M was added later. Maze treaders, whose vision ahead and behind is severely constructed. and fragmented, suffer confusion, whereas maze viewers, who see the pattern whole from above or in a diagram, are dazzled by its complex artistry. What you see depends on where you stand, and thus, at one and the same time, labyrinths are single. There's one physical structure and double. They simultaneously incorporate. Oh god, it's happening. Incorporate in order and disorder. Clarity and confusion, unity and multiplicity, artistry and chaos. They may be perceived as a path. Fuck, I lost my place for a second there. A linear but circuitous passage to a goal, or as a pattern, a complete symmetrical design. ... Our perception of labyrinths is thus intrinsically unstable. Change your perspective, and the labyrinth seems to change. In terms of spontaneous perception, man's space is subjectively centered. Yep. Unfortunately, the dichotomy between those who participate inside and those who view from the outside breaks down when considering the house. House is in blue. Simply because no one ever sees that the labyrinth. No one ever sees that labyrinth in its entirety. Therefore, comprehension of its intricacies, must always be derived from within. This not only applies to the house, but to the film itself. From the outside of the Novitzin record, house was in blue right there. We are involved in a labyrinth, meandering from one celluloid cell to the next, trying to peek around the next edit in hopes of finding a solution, a center, a sense of whole. Only to discover another sequence leading in completely different direction, a continually dissolving discourse promising the possibility of discovery, while all along dissolving into chaotic ambiguities too blurry to ever completely comprehend. In order to fully appreciate the way the ambages unwind, twist only to rewind, and then open up again, whether in Novitzin's house is in blue, or the film, a bunch of French words. We should look at the etymological inheritance of the word labyrinth. Cool! The Latin labor is akin to the root labi, which meaning to slip or slide backwards. Labi is also probably cognate with sleep. Though the commonly perceived meaning suggests different difficulty and work. Implicit in labyrinth is a required effort to keep those from slipping or falling, in other words, stopping. Oh, I got a hiccup. We cannot relax within those walls, we have to struggle past them. Hugh of St. Victor has gone far to suggest that, in the antithesis of the labyrinth, which contains work, is Noah's Ark, in other words, that which contains rest. If the work demanded by any labyrinth means pertaining or escaping it, the question of process becomes extremely relevant. For instance, one way out of the maze is to simply keep one hand on a wall and walk in one direction. Eventually, the exit will be found. Unfortunately, where the house is concerned, this approach will probably require an infinite amount of time and resources. It cannot be forgotten that the problem posed by exhaustion, the result of labor, is an inextricable part of any encounter with a sophisticated maze. In order to escape, then, we have to remember we cannot ponder all paths, but must decode only those necessary to get out. We must be quick and anything but exhaustive. Yet, as Sakina warned in his Postulae Morales 44, going too fast also incurs certain risks. Let's see. This is what happens when you hurry through a maze. The faster you go, the worse you are entangled. It's in fucking French again. Unfortunately, and okay. Oh wait, look. Let's make me bigger. Here we go. In my gun. Nope. No. Oh well. 5 slug reaction. Hell yeah. We're like... Without getting too far into it, we're like a fifth of the way through. Unfortunately, the infractuosity of some labyrinths may actually prohibit a permanent solution. More confounding still is complexity exceeding the imagination of even the designer. Therefore, anyone lost within must recognize that no one, not even a god or an other, comprehends the entire maze and so therefore can never offer a definitive answer. Novidson's house, Houses in Blue, seems to be a perfect example. Due to the wall shifts and extraordinary size, any way out remains singular and applicable only to those on that path at that particular time. All solutions are necessarily personal. Hello? Cool. I'm not sure why, but I feel like I understand this on an entirely different level. What I mean to say is that the weird encounter with Tatiana seems to have helped me somehow. And if getting off was all I needed to diminish some of the dread and panic, I guess Thumper was right. Of course, the downside is that this new discovery has left me practically beside myself, in which, I mean, pretty epic. I missed something. Okay. Last night I made the rounds. I called Tatiana, but she wasn't home. Amber's machine picked up, but I didn't leave a message. Then, as the hours lengthened and a particular heaviness crept in on me, yeah, sorry about that, I had to backtrack a little bit. I thought about Thumper. In fact, I almost went down to where she works, to that place where I could be alone with the failing light and shadow play, where I could peek in ease, unhurried, notion, which as suddenly as it crossed my mind suddenly and for no apparent reason, made me feel terribly uncomfortable. I called Lude instead. He gave me Kyrie's number. No answer, not even a machine picked up. I called Lude back, and an hour later we were losing ourselves in pints of cider at Red. Funky. For some reason, it filmed me have see Appendix F. What? For some reason, I had with me a little bit of Zapano wrote about Natasha. I found it some months ago and immediately assumed it was an old love of his, which of course may still be true. Since then, however, I began to believe that Zapano's Natasha also lives in Tolstoy's Gorillas pages. Yes, amazingly enough. Ad break. Fuck. Did get around to reading War and Peace. Doesn't even tell me like an ad break's gonna happen, it just comes up with one. Oh well. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Oh, the community. Okay. Cool, cool. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna do. I put a thing in my thing. I'm gonna cut it off there. I'm tired. Let's see who's on the line. If anybody. Doodly 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 doo. Doodly 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 doo. Goodbye, everybody. Y'all have a fantastic night. Bam. Do that. Touch ass. Make sure you have a fun time. Thank you for being here. Bye. Love you. Bye.